Case was born Neltje Johanna van Greveland in Middelburg, the Netherlands, on November 2, 1923. The single child of a taxi company owner, she was a spunky and active child and adored by all of the drivers. Case was intelligent, talented, and beautiful in her teens. She earned her glider pilot's license at 14 years of age and was the first female taxi driver in the Netherlands at age 16. Her beauty drew photographers to her, and she was a model for publications and ads. Here she is in a classic black and white photo, colorized by hand with pastel paints, as was the custom of the day. On May 17, 1940, the Germans launched a massive raid on Middelburg. The Nazis confiscated all the vehicles in Case's dad's fleet to use as staff vehicles. After losing their home, Case remembered taking her mother by bicycle across the main square. The cobblestone streets were so hot from the fires it melted the tires on her bike. She walked the bike to safety on the rims. The Dutch General Staff knew it could not stop the bombers and surrendered in order to prevent other cities from suffering the same fate. The Netherlands remained under German occupation until 1945, when the last Dutch territory was liberated. Food was also a major preoccupation for Case. In Middelburg, food was becoming increasingly scarce, and ration coupons were needed for everything. A few ounces of meat or fat, cheese, bread, or coal, even for 20 grams of spaghetti, about 6 dry strands. Case said they would just nibble uncooked spaghetti like candy, as this relieved some of their hunger pains. Dandelions, sugar beets, and even worms became fair game. Case said she'd brush the dirt off the worms and fry them a bit before eating them. Case said, "Then we had what we used to call sliding sausage. We would put a slice of salami on a piece of bread, and then slide the salami off while we ate the bread, and then reuse the salami in another piece of bread." Case also told of an accidental food drop during the Market Garden Airborne Offensive. There were containers of Crisco in the drop, and civilians ate it, figuring it was just a foodstuff they hadn't seen before. They got terribly sick. Also dropped was peanut butter in glass jars, which broke when the packages hit the ground. Case recalled they were so hungry they licked the peanut butter off the broken glass and were thankful. At only 17 and at great risk of life, Case was involved in the underground as a courier. As she proved her capabilities, she was given more responsibility and had helped many escapees get through Zeeland to France, where the French helped get them back to England. Case was honored with a lifetime membership in the U.S. 8th Air Force Historical Society. In addition to her efforts in the underground, Case was part of a small number that kept records of the planes shot down across the land. On November 2, 1944, the 52nd Lowland Division, the Scottish Highlanders Brigade, made an amphibious landing at Flushing and Middelburg, and Middelburg was liberated 4 days later. At this time, Case was asked to help the Highlanders identify the MIAs. They investigated the records she and others kept, and, with Case as a translator, trusted by the locals, were able to identify many MIAs. Case said that they used to send them out into the field, she was the only civilian, with a bottle of whiskey to help them with this difficult task. 4 air forces awarded Case for her help in identifying MIAs in the Netherlands. Case was also awarded a citation and was a lifetime member of the Air Force's Escape and Evasion Society and attended the reunion as often as possible, both in Europe and here in the U.S. Bert spent 2 years as a forced laborer in Germany and was liberated by the U.S. Army in April of 1945. He aided the U.S. Army in the repatriation of other forced laborers. As a translator of German and English, Bert felt a kinship with American lifestyle, learned a lot about the U.S., and made many friends. In 1946, he applied for immigration to the United States and found out that the quota for the Netherlands was only 1,422 immigrants per year. His number was 14,300. He decided to further his education and pursue a job while he waited for his number for 6 years. Bert worked on a troop ship, ferrying immigrants from Amsterdam to Canada and South Africa. In 1949, he was promoted and transferred to the royal flagship, the Oranje, as a purser. This dashing officer soon met a lovely lady on board the Oranje. With her ability to speak 4 languages fluently, Case turned her attention on her future goals. Case graduated from one of the premier hotel schools in Europe. She used this education to secure a position as a dietitian, or sous chef, on the passenger transport, the Oranje, Her Royal Majesty's flagship. Much later, she used her education and her life experience to earn transfer credits from Cornell and finish her degree at Metro State College. Case enjoyed her time aboard ship very much. They transported passengers between Amsterdam and the Dutch East Indies, now known as Indonesia. After the Oranje captain politely let Bert and Case know that there could be no more onboard romance, Case decided to try something new. She heard of an interesting position for the KLM Royal Dutch Airlines. There were over 2,300 applicants for the job, and 16 were accepted to be the first ground agent. Case was number 1 out of the class of 16. As one of the original 16 ground hostesses, she had an opportunity to meet Mamie Eisenhower, who was accompanying Dwight on a trip to Amsterdam. Later, Case became a stewardess. As on the Oranje, her friends made there remained lifelong friends. After finding a sponsor, when Bert's number came up, Bert asked Case to marry him and move to America. They were wed on February 14, 1952. Bert and Case came to America by ship, and after landing in New York, they worked their way across the United States to Denver, where their sponsor lived. On the way across the U.S. by bus, Bert remembers one bus stop in North Platte, Nebraska. There were a few farmers sitting in a tavern at the bar when they came in. Case ordered a shot of whiskey and drank it. The men were flabbergasted that a woman knew how to drink like that. I guess the Highlanders giving whiskey to the team's recovering airmen had trained her well. Bert and Case worked for United Airlines, their first jobs in their new country. They were both in the computer field, cutting-edge stuff then. Mick was born in 1954 in Middelburg, Netherlands, after Case returned there to give birth to him at her childhood home. In 1954, Bert was stricken with tuberculosis and was hospitalized for 9 months. Case worked full-time during the entire time Bert was in the hospital. In 1957, Bert and Case became United States citizens. In 1959, Case and Bert expanded their family and welcomed Ingrid into their lives. Bert and Case worked full-time during the time Mick and Ingrid were preschool age. Our parents worked opposite shifts, so we would never be without a parent at home. It was a huge sacrifice for them not to see each other as much as they would have liked. Parenthood is extremely important to them. Case was so talented and artistic. She was always interested in teaching the kids new arts and crafts, making Christmas ornaments, throwing pottery with Ingrid, and teaching her pisanka, Ukrainian egg decorating. The kids learned to be great campers, and the family traveled all over the world, camping and learning about the cultures. The family traveled to the Netherlands every year to visit family and friends. One camping and canoeing trip, Bert and Case noticed people on the hills digging in the dirt. They looked like trolls, Case said, and she thought it was silly until she tried it herself and found her first leaf fossil. A new hobby, mineral collecting, was started, and it lasted a lifetime. In 1962, United transferred Bert to Chicago. In the mid-60s, the family learned how to ski on the Fox Trail ski area near Palatine, Illinois. There was a rope tow and 2 runs. one on the right side of the giant oak tree, the other on the left. It was 3 to 5 minutes in line for the tow rope, and then 10 seconds to ski down. It was wonderful. The family traveled to Winter Park every year for a ski vacation. In 1970, Bert was transferred to the new United Apollo Computer Center in a brand new office park called the Denver Tech Center. Case and Bert joined the Denver Curling Club and learned the sport of curling. They excelled and played in many competitions. Case and Bert never lost their love of camping, and in their retirement years they enjoyed being volunteer camp hosts at several state and national parks. Case earned her GED and in 1984 requested college credit for her life experiences and education at the hotel school. She received 79 credits from Cornell University. As charter members of the Greenwood Athletic and Tennis Club, Bert and Case went almost daily. They made many friends there in the 23 years and felt at home. Case and Bert became Citizens Police graduates after they trained in the Greenwood Village Citizens Police Academy last fall. Case was the best shooter of the class of 2009. Case was always involved in the world around her and had special talents. She could see people's hearts and always wanted to help those around her. She was involved in her community her entire life, and so many people were helped by her strength, courage, and tenderness. Bert and Case joined the Denver Gem and Mineral Guild in 1974, and that is where I was fortunate enough to meet them. Bert and Case became dear friends of myself and my husband Joe. A very loving couple, everyone around Bert and Case could feel the power of their love and the degree of their commitment to each other, and also the importance of family and friends. On Mother's Day 2010, not knowing that this was the last Mother's Day that Ingrid would have her mother, she wrote, "Mom, the older I get, the more I realize how much you've done for me all my life. I thought all mothers loved and cared for their daughters the way that you always did for me, but the more that I see of this world, the more that I know that our relationship is exceptional. I'm so lucky to have a mother who taught me how to love myself as well as others, to trust my own instincts, and to be true to myself. You've always been a special person, Mom, always caring for the people and the world around you. Thank you for raising me the way you did. I really love you." Our dear friend Case passed away in November of 2010. She will always be missed, and she will never be forgotten.